So high school for me was a wild experience. I got expelled from all three of them. I
What?
graduated a year early. And then I just said, you know what? Fuck it. Like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. I'm just going to travel. Then I traveled the world for like 5 years.
How?
Yeah, how'd you
Um,
afford this?
I was a hippie, you guys. Okay. So
Okay.
there's like
Because
luxury
it's a miracle
travel.
you didn't end up doing from like
I
that
know.
state that you were
Yeah,
in.
right.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
girls do now. They start fans and then they travel the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was early. I was in the premium Snapchat era. This is before OnlyFans even
Yeah.
started. I did side girls, premium Snapchat, then
What was your
Instagram.
girl's name?
Should I say?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, it's pretty out there. Willow Lay.
Okay.
But I did a whole rebranding after.
I wonder if I was like aware of you at that time because we have the same like sort of timeline. We're about the
Yeah.
same age. We
Yes.
both did premium
Yes.
Snapchat, so I feel
Yeah.
like I probably came across
For
Willow
sure.
Lay at some point.
People don't
Yeah.
know about this, but throughout the 2010s or like the 2000s, if you were a dude and you weren't cool enough to actual celebrities, for sure the closest thing was a side girl. And I had a few under my belt, and I was
met
very
one
proud
of
of it.
them.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
introduced me to one of the girls.
Yeah.
I think there was also a song somewhere that was really famous that was like, I this girl, right? Or something like that.
It was
and
a real claim to
trended.
fame. That could be your whole personality as a dude. It's just like a couple suicide
Back in the
girls.
day,
Yeah.
that really was it. So when I was growing up, that's why I kind of started to like tap into the adult industry because I always was like, oh, I think I'm gonna have a lot of tattoos. I saw the girls, the modeling, and I was like, yeah, I think this is what I want to do. And then from there, it just kind of took off.
What
Never
was
looked
all
back.
that traveling
Yeah,
like?
your
Did that
hippie
change you a
era.
lot as a person or what?
Oh, immensely. Yeah. Like, so, you can go through life in two ways. You can get educated through school, or you can get educated through culture. And for me, I was just traveling the world. I was like, education. I don't care about money. I was super not superficial, which is funny because all my comments are like, you're the most superficial girl ever. And I was like, you have no idea. I had a fucking shaved head. I had dreads. I lived out of a backpack. I
By
slept in
yourself, you didn't have like a
parks.
group of like hippie friends that you were doing this with.
I was alone for most of it, and then I
Okay.
traveled with my ex-partner for some of it. And we would hitchhike all the time, meet new communities, and like, when I was living in Europe, I lived in like squats and, you know.
You were not hitchhiking alone, right?
I did, yeah, on a couple of
Girl,
occasions,
I'm.
yeah.
I know it was in the past, but
No,
I'm
I
like worried
feel
about
like
you.
that's the daredevil in me,
But
That's
it's
the
funny
girl in
because
me.
you're like a bunch younger than me. But for me, when I graduated high school, that was like what I wanted to do with my life was just like somehow figure out how to have enough money to just backpack around Europe and just have these life experiences, which is kind of
Yeah.
the opposite of what the lifestyle of a girl is, where you basically
Complete.
you try to stay in one place, you beautify yourself.
Yeah.
Every 3-4 months you go under the knife. You're always trying to figure out something to make yourself look
Are you
better.
putting us on blast right now or what?
I mean, I see
Come
it.
on.
You film
Come
8
on.
Instagram reels a day, you know.
More than that.
Yeah, put some respect on
I
our
spent
name.
like 40
It's a
yesterday.
lot.
But if we were to see photos of you during this hippie
You'd have no
backpacking era,
idea who
really?
I was.
So you were not emphasizing your hotness. You were not trying to be as hot as possible.
No.
Okay.
Polar opposite.
Did you ever come
really.
down to Santa Cruz?
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder
that's
if we
wh-
met
yeah.
like in passing at one point.
You feel that? Wow, you're really
Well,
feeling
she's
her
from the
spirit, huh?
Bay Area, and I was in Santa Cruz, and we graduated high school at the same time. Well, you didn't
Yeah.
graduate, but
Yeah, I was in Santa Cruz all the time.
so and it's like a hippie haven. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like maybe we were at the Catalyst
Pacific-
together, seeing Andre
Oh,
Nicotina. Like, see, she gets what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, no.
We're vibing.
I love that for you.
Traveling was some of the best years of my life. And it was also opening me up to my sexuality as well. Like I had a lot of crazy, wild sex experiences when I was traveling and being a hippie.
Let's hear an example.
Okay. I slept with my boss and I got fired. And I was living in New Zealand at the time, right? And she was smoking hot. We go to this house party and I've been hitting on her like a little bit behind the bar, just like, a little touchy-feely. And then she invites me and I kind of had a crush on her. Like I actually had the feels. And we end up taking totally legal psychedelics, dabbled in a little. And
I wouldn't even judge you if they were illegal, honestly. I'd be
just-
totally fine with that.
just for the
That's how open-minded I am.
Yeah.
guys, it was all legal.
Okay.
And then we started hooking up and we were up for probably like 6 hours. It was like I don't think I've ever gone down on someone that long in my life.
That's a long
I like
time.
completely forgot. Well, like a 6 hour in total,
Okay.
you know,
Did you have like
we're
chapped lips
oh
after?
horribly. Honestly, like it might be a fantasy in the guys' minds right now, but it wasn't actually as beautiful as it sounds because it was a long time.
I feel like it would take a lot of Molly to propel me into wanting to for 6 hours.
Yeah, it was acid. It was
Okay.
acid.
Oh.
So I was really, we were out of it. There was a lot of sparkles. So then I have to get up and I'm supposed to go to work the next morning, and she's literally my boss, and she's like, "Get up." She's like, "Get up, Willow, we have to go." And I was like, "I'm not going to work today. I'm fully naked. I'm like high as I just slept with my boss, and I was like, I'm not going to work today." And she's like laughing hysterically, leaves, comes back, and she comes back to the house later that night, and she's like, "They're gonna fire you." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "They're firing you. You can't just like not come to work." And I was like, it was so worth it. She was so hot.
Did you come again
honestly.
after that?
I left the country. So, but
Okay.
her and I, we had feelings. There was actually feelings
So
there.
you're traveling, and are you like different people in all these places and just becoming in love with them, and then just leaving pieces of your soul all over the
Breaking
world?
hearts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It was like building lives in different cities, and in every place I lived, I did different things. Like I was a writer and a poet in Berlin, and just running in these like weird ass hippie communities, like living in squats. And then in Australia, I was bartending, and then in New Zealand, I was like working at hostels.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any close calls in terms of all this not going as planned? Or was it mostly like you were just relying on the goodwill of humanity and they kind of came through for you?
I mean, at a certain point, I ended up homeless. So I
Mm.
lived in a homeless shelter for a year. So my travels kind of derailed at a
Were you
certain
not like able to
point.
get a job where you were or something?
I had really bad PTSD, like
From
severe PTSD. I had something happen, like witnessed an event that
Oh
took
my gosh.
place that was pretty gruesome.
like
Obviously won't divulge, but
terrorism? No, not that crazy, but
yeah,
something okay.
something along that lines. And yeah, I just like could not work a normal job at all.
For a
I
whole
was
year.
having PTSD, yeah.
And you weren't here, like you were.
I was in San Francisco.
Oh, okay, you were here.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
I
at
went
least you had like a support system, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, my family really didn't do much for me
Mm.
at the time, but yeah, I went from living in a homeless shelter in San Francisco to 3 years later living in a penthouse there,
Oh, wow.
overlooking the skyline.
So during that time period that you're in the homeless shelter, though, I mean, I think like a lot of us, when we try to imagine ourselves becoming homeless, it's kind of hard to imagine because you kind of need to like have squandered the goodwill of everybody that you know in order to end up
Yeah.
in that position. True or false?
Right. Well, for me, I couch surfed,
Yeah.
right? And I stayed with friends, but you reach a certain point where I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm obligating you, and this is like,
Yeah.
and I also used to sleep in parks. It's not like it's not something I could do. And I was sleeping in parks by myself for a while, and the cops picked me up and they were basically like, you can't sleep here. And they took me to a shelter. But I was avoiding the shelters because they're thieves. They're,
Yeah,
it's dangerous,
they're not
super
safe.
dangerous.
I would think, yeah.
But I was with my ex-partner, so he was there with me and going through the whole process with me, and he kept me safe for the most part in there. But
Well,
yeah,
that's good.
it was a crazy.
So how do you emerge from all
Yeah.
this and
Yeah,
become
like,
this
how are
super
we here,
hot
huh?
Yeah.
star? Yeah.
That's kind of where it started. So I, was doing this girls thing. All of this happened, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Fans wasn't around, so I'm like selling Instagram photos.
Yeah.
I'm living in this homeless shelter. I started shooting content in the bathroom of the shelter, like in the group doors, like the dorms, like
Oh
where
my
you go and
gosh.
shower, like behind a shower door. I made enough money to book a hotel. I book hotels, and then I start taking photos, and then I start selling those on Instagram, and I make enough money to move us back to Australia because he was from New Zealand where we met before we moved to Europe. That's this long ass story.
Oh
So
my
anyway,
gosh.
I just made enough money to support myself until I reached a point that came around, and then it changed the game completely. But I
Wow.
didn't know what I was doing for the longest time. I mean, you look at some of my original photos and it's like, what is this? Like, what is this
Yeah,
pose?
yeah.
I'm just like I have
The
never.
light is all bad. The
it's-
angle's terrible. Yeah.
Oh my
We've all been
God.
there.
Yeah, I hope the internet never
But
finds those
okay,
again.
was it just an issue of you just getting your shit together? Like when you look back at those photos, were you
Yeah.
not in shape? Were you like not taking
I
care of
was-
yourself?
I looked good. I was, I mean, the natural body got me this body, so it did enough to enhance it, right?
So but you
I
never
was-
know because like Kazumi
Really?
Kazumi looks amazing, right?
Yes.
I have seen pictures of Kazumi before she got serious about and
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. Like,
Adam's
okay,
being a hater right now.
I'm
I
not
know.
being a
I
hater.
can't be on
She
Team
knows.
Adam.
It was
I
beautiful.
can't.
we've talked
I
about
can't.
it. She
Come on.
knows. She knows. When she was doing the 50 guy for no money,
Yeah. Okay.
it wasn't
No.
quite what you're looking at now when you see
I
her.
mean, I was cute. I had, you know, a different look. I had bright blue hair. I had bright, you know, green hair. I was just always like, you know, a little more alternative. Skinny, perky little, you know, it was a
Okay.
vibe.